I'm going to record onto this computer. Oh, Patty's here too. Great. Okay, so welcome and hello, and my name's Laura for Erin, everybody else I know. I just want to offer that as we go through this, everything you take at whatever level you want to do. If you don't want to do anything, totally fine. You want to go off in another direction, completely fine. Follow your own interest, follow your own inquiry, and just let the things that I am offering land, and you take them or leave them as is interesting for you. So however that wants to land. And I'm immediately noticing that I need to get a glass of water before we start. Oh, I got one here. Like, okay, the heat is on in my house and it changes the dryness factor here in the Hudson Valley. So let's just take a second to come into sensation in whatever way that works best for you. Eyes open, eyes closed. I'm going to go eyes closed to just land in my own body, receiving whatever is happening for me right now, and offering you guys the opportunity to just land in the moment with yourself, with your cells, feeling into how it is to be in your body right now on the planet. And noticing whatever is coming up or coming down. So I'm going to play today with this thing that I've actually found really interesting, and that is how our body perceives time or how we notice time. And in the Laban work, when we're coming into the idea of time, we're not coming into the idea of something's fast or something slow. We're coming into where does it switch? Where am I speeding up? Maybe stopping and then slowing down. And so I want to, hey, Michael, I want to play with this with just using our head and neck, our cranium, cervical vertebra, really, maybe coming down into our spine with just movement, tracking, maybe starting big, letting the environment come into your eyes, receiving what you see. And it doesn't have to be straight looking from side to side. It could also have little moments of stopping and seeing something in an area. So just inviting in the horizontal, the horizon line into your experience. And it might just be with your eyes, or it might be with your head. We're going to use breath and sound, some work from Continuum also in this, but we're just going to start with this little bit of turning of the head from side to side. And allowing your awareness to start to track the speed at which you're going. And when it starts to slow down to a stop and go the other way. And allow your body, if it's possible, to take the reins. So it's not the thinking mind going, I'm going to turn my head, but we're just allowing our body to move in any way that feels good. Ideally with that tracking going side to side, but it may be that there's forward, backward movement. There may be other movement coming in. We're not shutting anything down. It's all allowed. But it may be very interesting to stay in one little area and just move with that. And as you're in that, feeling where your awareness is landing. And maybe more, like for me, often my whole body comes online and I feel things in different parts that aren't just up here in my head and neck. That's fine. Let that all come in. Tuning towards what feels curious and interesting and maybe delicious. With eyes open or closed. Once I get going, I really just want to keep them closed. And for me, I also start to notice sometimes that this sort of wave into the backspace starts to happen, or like a downward dropping. Let anything in that feels good, anything that feels like, oh, letting your organic animal body move, your body of water, very fluid. Tuning in really to deceleration and acceleration. I'm going to add a breath sound to this. So the breath sound, and you may just want to do the breath sound without the turning of your head. You may want to just land in the breath sound, is the Theta breath from Continuum. It's a soft hiss, your tongue gently behind your teeth with a very soft exhale. So just extending the exhale, allowing your nervous system to downregulate a little bit, but also seeing if you can start to perceive time in that, perceiving the speed at which the air is releasing, maybe perceiving the vibration that that's kind of going out on or landing in your body. And maybe other things are coming up and time is elusive today. That's totally fine. Just going to back up. And you can let that theta breath ride for as long as it feels good. So it could go quickly and you run out of breath and you want to inhale. Inhale as soon as you feel the need for an inhale. Don't try and extend it forever. We're not doing deep sea dive training. We're just letting it be comfortable and easy. And then whenever you need to, taking resting breaths. Ideally, you're inhaling regular breaths through your nose. And maybe as you're turning your head, imagination comes online and you start to imagine things or it connects to memory. That's fine. You can let it be there, but try not to give it your full attention. Just let it kind of come and go like scenes on a movie if that's happening. Maybe it's very different for you. Allowing story and thought, the stream of thought to be present, just not shining your awareness on it. Anytime you notice it, see if you can just come back to the sensation of the movement and the sound. Maybe you can hear other things as well. Like I can hear my heartbeat. I can hear sound environments or environment, the sound in my environment. That can all be there, part of the experience. And I just want to invite our higher self in and online to really participate with us, making choices of where helping us choose what we want and don't want within our practice. So just allowing that you're or inviting in your highest self to be there, participating with you in your best interest and in the best interest of everyone. that connectedness. So I'm going to start to add other body movement. If you want to do this on the floor, laying down, on all fours, standing up, any way that feels good to you, feel free to participate in whatever way feels good. Since we've been doing all that horizontal panning with our heads, I'm feeling the need to spread and engage with my arms as well. So tuning into that. And maybe it's more interesting to be in the timelessness where we're not noticing time. So allow that to be present as a possibility if that's interesting for you. In Laban work, when we take out the effort quality of time, where the shifts of time are out of it, we call it spell drive when there's other effort qualities. And it's like you're casting a spell because it's sort of this timelessness. Just seeing how we participate in time on this body level, being. Here we are, things are slowing down, things are speeding up, or maybe we have no awareness of time because we're so engaged. Letting it be whatever it is for you. And I'm inviting in kind of wave-like tentacle movement into my body on a micro movement level and a macro movement level. Letting the natural resources of breath, fluid flow, the earth quality of your bones and fibrousness of your fascia. And then also sort of the fiery quality of being alive, of spirit, of passion, or whatever to come online, whatever the fire element brings up for you. Just inviting in that sort of natural resource flow and flux and flow to come online, nourishing your system, offering whatever it is that your body needs right now. And if you feel uncertain about that, you could ask yourself and just listen, give yourself time, allow your body to answer. I often think of our bodies as being these bodies of water, but they're also bodies of knowledge, right? We have all of this information in our body, in our cells, in our tissues, in our nervous system. Inviting that to come together in a coherent, harmonious manner in our system. And continuing to play with movement in whatever way feels interesting. If we become sort of engaged in really familiar patterns, then we maintain the pattern. But if we're interested in shifting the pattern a little bit, try exploring into novel movement, novel sensation. If you feel like you know where you're going, try going somewhere different, right? If you feel like, oh, I've caught myself in this habitual pattern of being, what's over there? Shift it around. Bring in your curiosity. Or slow down or speed up. So we played with the sensation of time in the sort of horizontal plane, turning your head from side to side. Let's also play with it in the forward, backward, sagittal plane, forward, backward, the wheel plane. And what I notice also is as some part of me is going forward, another part might be going backward. So it's not like there's this forward thrust going all the time. There's definitely like a balance of forwarding and backwarding often happening together. So inviting in that awareness, that patterning into your system. And with the Laban work, which I come from, one of the affinities of movement is that time goes with the sagittal dimension, forward, backward. And we could say with decision making, I will, I won't. I'm moving forward, I'm moving back. So inviting that idea, that concept into your exploration, as big or small as feels good. I'm feeling the need to actually get up to move. So you can be in any relationship to gravity that feels good to you. And in any kind of patterning in your body that feels good. I'm going to bring back the theta breath for my exploration. Allow it to come and go whenever it feels interesting for you. And in your exploration, if you encounter resistance, you can welcome it in. Sometimes, like the push and the pull of it are very interesting. And if you encounter judgment, maybe allow it to be there, but don't give it a big spotlight. Yeah, we can invite everything in, but we don't want to give it all of our attention. If you have your judgment coming in, invite in your equanimity. And even as I say that, I feel a dance between judgment and equanimity happening. I'm going to add music to the experience. This will be Jeff Gersh Ambient Fields, and it is song 1 of album 1. So let the music just sort of wash over you, informing your movement. I want to say receive it on a cellular level, if that is okay, so that it's like deeply arriving in your body and informing the movement. And from here on out, I'll probably give a little bit of my experience, and maybe a little bit of guidance, but really let yourself play with the ideas that we've been playing with. If you wander off into something totally different, that's fine. Let this work for you. Let it be playful and curious. Allowing yourself to really receive the processing time, the slowing down, the renegotiating of your inner space. Offering yourself the gift of really being present with whatever's happening. Also offering yourself the moment to come into your body as if you are coming into it for the first time. So you're just figuring out what's possible in here. How does it feel to move? How does it feel to move in different ways? What can your body even do? Can you land deeper in your own experience without pushing it or forcing it? Inviting the living nature of your experience with everything else around you into the moment. So it's not, you're here, you're suspended in this moment and it's moving. I'm noticing for myself that if I try to come back into this idea of time, I can feel my brain squeezing around the effort of that. So if it feels like it's effortful and you can release anything, just let it go. Let yourself just play in the pool of whatever's happening, whatever's interesting, whatever feels good without trying to squish yourself back into a concept, unless that feels good and interesting and delicious, and then go for it. Maybe it's sometimes curious to find your edges and hang out with them a little bit. Does everything always want to be? I often want us to seek the delicious and the comfortable, but what happens if we come to the slightly uncomfortable? Can we hang out with that place as well? Being with ourselves, witnessing and witnessing, but maybe witnessing more than witnessing, so that we're really present with, not just observing, but engaging in the dynamic event of being. An event sounds like it sort of happens in time. What day is the event happening? It's always happening. I've got Lord Gaylord here really involved in the process. Imagining that as you're suspended in the moment, as you're suspended in being, also your nervous system is suspended inside your body, really supported by everything in there, supported in the fascia, supported with the cerebral spinal fluid, supported by all the stuff inside of you, and just inviting in that coherence so that sort of the grand central station of your body is functioning as well as possible, supported by all, I don't know, that's a weird a metaphor for it, but all the systems coming into coherence and alignment. As we downregulate, allowing ourselves to process whatever needs to be processed. Processing it on a kinesthetic movement level. And maybe that's even in stillness. Relative stillness. Stillness actually doesn't really exist. As far as the body is concerned. As you're exploring, you may come across tension patterns or tension systems within your body that may not be serving you, inviting them to be nourished or composted, right? So that maybe they need the nourishment to move on. Maybe they just need to compost within your body. Letting the elements compost them. Or maybe they're still really serving you. If you meet with all of the things that are going on, all of the things within yourself, if you meet with that stuff, cradle it. What can we do, right? But accept it. And maybe it is helpful to have hands on or soothing. Inviting the energy of our hearts and our hearts in coherence with other hearts to really align with each other, to align with ourselves, right? To soften. Right. And the heart, the rhythm of the heart, it has that push and then that sort of pull back, push and pull back. Like there's a real strength to it. This life force energy, this system that has all the elements in it. Electricity, fluid flow, oxygen moving through there, eliminating waste, connected deeply with our lungs. So our lungs and our heart are all in this relationship of loving each other, hugging each other, moving together. And the system of our heart is moving through our whole body, right? Like Gil Headley talks about the heart, and that's where is your heart? And people point to their chests, but it's moving through every part of us, all the way out to our capillaries and coming back in. That is all heart. So there's this very core distal center to edge relationship of the heart. And we want that fluidity, that flow. Yeah. The wings of the heart, the wings of the lungs. allowing emotions to be present with us, to move through us, to be part of our experience. And allowing the energetic permeability of all of our hearts together to relate. We don't need to lock them off from each other. And to have a heart is to have a heart that breaks sometimes, right? It's part of the cycle, the night and day of having a heart, the life and death of having a heart. Just going to turn down the music and let us come into a few minutes of silence in our own experience. You can move, you cannot move. Just give yourself a chance to process. Processing the processing.